I almost don't want to take the graphic away because we're live, but they don't know what they're about to see, Frank.
I could hide a little bit better.
Oh, no, there's no hiding. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another exciting edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish, episode 228.
Wow.
And it is officially a throwback show.
I think it's Throwback Thursday.
Professional angler, OSI professional, running the Triton Yamaha, chucking the booyah on the silver thread, fishing the 2005 Sitco Bassmaster Tournament Trail. Frank Scalish joins us today to talk about the hottest lures from Y2K. Frank, have you heard about this new thing called a flip phone? This phone, it folds in half and it could slide into your pocket. I know we're all driving around with the bag phones, which are awesome, but this phone actually fits in your pocket. You can flip it open. You can make cellular calls.
Yeah, I heard about it. I hope I can get one. I heard they had one it's black and red, and it's supposed to be indestructible and waterproof, which would be great for a fisherman.
Yeah. Well, I know you just signed a big deal with OSI, so you should be able to afford that no problem. All right, here's what we're actually going to do, folks. So I get an Instagram message, says Christopher, Chris Stam messages, and he says, hey, look what I found. And what he found was an advertisement from 2004. Right there it is, out of an old Bassmaster magazine. Frank Scalish, failure is not an option. Frank Scalish, professional bass fisherman, 2004 Sitco Bassmaster Northern Invitational winner. There's a story that goes along with this. That led us down a wormhole to where somehow we managed to talk Frank into sporting that same jersey, turtleneck, and hat. And we're going to talk a little bit about this and the goods, because I had to go with my same time when you were wearing that. This is what I was wearing. So we'll get into the get up, but big shout out to Chris right off the ripper. We're literally doing a whole show because of him. Should we give away our first $50 LureNet gift card to Chris, who is supposedly watching when he is not supposed to be watching at work, Frank?
Yes, we'll give him the $50 gift card, A, for his detective work, and B, for taking a gamble watching a stern work.
There you go. Email me, matt@basszone.com. All right, let's jump right into it, Frank. You said that this advertisement,
dude,
has a hell of a story behind it.
Okay, so you this is insanity. So I get OSI, they contact me, they're going to be my title sponsor. I meet all the guys, great group of guys. Became friends with most of them, in contact with some of them to this very day. So here we are. So they said, hey, we have this, big advertising agency wants to do this photo shoot. We got to get photos for the trade shows, for our packaging, et cetera, et cetera. So meet us at this studio downtown Cleveland. So they give me the address, boat and truck in tow, wrapped boat and wrapped truck in tow. When I first get there, I think I'm in the wrong place because it doesn't say anything like photo studio or, so-and-so photography. It says nothing. It's just a building. So I'm like, holy crap, I must be in the wrong place. So I pull around the back. There's a dude there. He flags me in. Come on. Flags me in. I go in there. I'm not kidding you. They go, yeah, pull the truck and the boat in, and then we'll set up once you're inside. So I'm thinking gigantic warehouse, like a sports show, pull the boat in. There's ample room. Dude, everything in this place was in the round. Okay. So when I went into the garage door, it's round to get into the studio. I get the boat and the truck in there, and I can't go anywhere else because the trailer's scraping the wall and the truck's scraping the wall. There's no room to get the trailer and the boat in. So I'm like, son of a beehive. So I jump out of the truck. I throw it in park. Because I can't, because there might be children watching that.
Yeah.
So
I just never heard beehive, but
yeah.
I like it.
Okay. So literally I put the truck in park. I jump out of the truck. I drop the tongue down on the wheel tongue down on the trailer, and I start jacking the trailer up and getting it off the truck. I get it off the truck. I pull the truck in. I go back, and I'm starting to push and pull the boat. And these people come out, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm supposed to be here. It's a photo shoot." And they're like, "We know you're supposed to be here. Why are you touching anything? You're going to get filthy dirty, and you got to be in the pictures." I go, "Dude, I do this every day. This is the ad agency." I go, "I do this every day. I'm not going to get filthy dirty. We got to get the truck. We got to get the boat in here."
Are you wearing the jersey? Are you wearing that exact setup at this point?
This exact setup, but I had the jersey on the truck seat. I just had the turtleneck.
Okay. Okay.
So
like a young Steve Jobs.
Sure. Exactly. So we get everything in, and in these studios where you're doing large production work, there's no corners. Everything is round, so you have no hard shadows in any of the corners. So we wheel the boat in, all right? And so they go, "Get on the boat and pretend like you're fishing." And I get on the boat, and I'm like, "This isn't going to work." And they're like, "Why isn't it going to work?" I go, "Because this isn't how the boat sits in the water." So I said, "Let me do something." So I jump out of the boat. I level the trailer off just so it's a little bit off pitch. You know how the boat sits motor down in the water. So I level it off so it's just slightly off pitch. I go, I'm looking at it. I go, "Yeah, that's about right." And so they're like, "Okay, get up there and start pretending like you're fishing. Set the hook. Do this. Do." I said, I said, I have to have somebody standing on the line when I set the hook, or the rod won't bend.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I put a jig on, cut the hook off, pitched the jig out there. One of the guys stood on it, and then I started cracking fish in a bunch of different ways. You know what I mean?
So that photo in the back of this, you are not on the water.
I am getting to this photo on the back of this.
Okay.
Right now. This is the beauty part.
But at the time, you're in a studio.
A total studio, totally green screen.
Okay.
So I'm in the studio. So we're doing all this. And there's two guys sitting at a table with two giant computers and monitors. And I'm up there doing what they're telling me, and they're just, all I hear is keyboards. Tick, 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 tick. And they go, "Okay, we got it." And I'm like, "What do you mean you got it?" And they go, "We got it. Come here, check it out." And so I jump out of the boat, I go to the monitors, and they got me in some mountainous, like I'm talking snow-capped mountains, okay, and a mountain lake. And I'm like, "This ain't going to work." And they go, "Why not?" I go, "Because..."
Like you're in Aspen.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, it was worse than that. It was like I was in the Alps on a trout lake somewhere.
The Swiss Alps.
Yeah. So I said, "This isn't going to work." And they're like, "Why not?" I go, "Because there's no conceivable way that this is a place where a bass boat's going to go. Aside from that, everything is snow covered." So they go, "Watch what we could do." And they start doing shit, and the tall peaks, the snow-capped peaks, disappear. They took them out. Okay. And so I go, "We need some bulrushes in there. We need some greenery." And so they're making this whole thing up. I'm sitting there watching this develop on the screen. So, okay. So the mountain in the background that you see there on that picture.
Hold on. I got a better option for this.
All right. This is so wild.
Okay.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's perfect. So the mountain in the background that you see in that picture,
right
what
here.
was the foothills of the mega mountain behind it? Okay, there was literally snow on 3/4 of the mountain that's behind that.
Okay.
All right.
I would
Okay.
like to point out this is what we're looking at. This is in a Bassmaster magazine. This is a paid ad
Advertisement.
for, is it for OSI?
Yes.
So it's a paid ad for OSI. So like when you open up your Bassmaster magazine and you see KVD or whatever. So this was 2004, 2005 when this came out. So
Yes.
this is what you would open up and see. So that's what we're breaking down here. So if you joined us a little bit late, we're doing a throwback show. Listener sent us this photo and said, look at this with Frank. Failure's not an option. If you're listening to the MP3, highly recommend that on this show, you ease over to the Bass Talk Live YouTube channel and click on this show and watch it from January 15th. All right, back to the mountains. So we have some realistic mountains.
Yeah, so that's the best we could do. Now you could notice in the background the foliage is pine trees and stuff.
I believe those are called conifers. Like it definitely has a little bit of a northwest vibe to it.
It's a mountainous vibe. So anyway, so let's go back. So they're doing all this now, unbeknownst to me, okay, until after. So we break for lunch. The ad agency brings in this big spread. So we're all eating lunch and I'm yucking it up with the guys at OSI. Now, keep in mind, this is relatively new. This is a brand new relationship for OSI and myself. And so we're still,
how much are they dumping on this ad?
I can't tell you the number, but I do know what it is. And I literally
ballpark, Frank. This is 21 years ago.
Yeah, and add a bunch of zeros after that, and you're going to get real close to what that ad cost.
Okay.
So where was I?
Sorry, we were talking. You had just gotten it. They were messing with everything. You had just gotten the mountain to where you were like, okay, that looks to the deal.
Right. So we come back from lunch and I do a bunch of other photo shoots for trade show publications, not with the boat so much as with the truck and product and stuff like that. So at the end of the photo shoot, I believe they got to use 6 pictures. Okay. What I don't realize until after like several weeks after, they're going to put that up life size on a wall in the trade show. It was either in Orlando or Vegas. I don't remember which show it was, but it's going to be life size. Like I'm going to be my normal height. The boat's going to be 20 feet long, et cetera, and it's going to encompass this gigantic wall. So they tell me that, and then I'm like, hey, not that it's any of my business, but what did that photo shoot cost? And so they told me, and I was like, what? I said, you do know that I have an outdoor writer friend of mine that could do this for way less money. And they're like, what do you mean? And so I introduced him. Remember, you guys know Mark Hicks, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Still writes it. I still talk to him probably about once or twice a year. I'll call and do an article.
Yeah, Valerie's father, actually.
Yeah, it's Andrew Upshaw's wife is Valerie.
Right.
And Valerie is Mark Hicks's daughter.
Yeah, I've known Val since she was, that big.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he goes, really, can you? And I go, he goes, how many photographs can we have?
How many do you want?
I said, as many as you want. We'll just go do a photo shoot somewhere. So I got their wheels turning. So anyhow, they fly me to the trade show. Actually, I think it was Florida. I think it was Florida.
I don't know what just happened to Frank. Oh, you can't freeze in the middle of a... Frank just froze in the middle of his best story. We'll see if we can get Frank back here. We will oh, come on. Give me the 20 seconds. All right. We're going to kick Frank out of the studio. Kick him out as a guest. Frank will be back momentarily. Yeah, the last thing he said was it was Florida. All right, I just wanted to make sure that that it wasn't on me. All right, well while we wait to get Frank back, I'll go through my my wardrobe because I need to take my shirt off too. Ironically, I would have liked Frank to have seen this, but I am sporting the 1990s cotton cordell hat, but I actually got this hat in Japan when I was there a couple years ago. So we have that. We have the blue starter jacket that I used as a windbreaker when I was younger. I'm gonna text Frank here all of a sudden. Said he's working on it. All right. You back?
I think so.
Okay.
We're having a major snowstorm.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, I was literally trying to kill time by going through my wardrobe with no one gives a damn about. So thank God that came back. I was literally getting hot under the collar. So the last thing we heard was
so
you were headed to Florida on the plane.
Yeah. So anyway, so I get there and they're like, hey, I'm trying to think if this was the same trade show or not that Cindy Garrison was there with.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, Frank.
Okay, so anyhow, so I go there and they say, "Come on, you got to check the booth out. It's crazy. We got this giant, 50-foot wall, dude. You're famous. You got to see it." So I go to it, and my jaw is dragging on the ground. The mountain lake that they put me in has icebergs and ice chunks floating all over it.
And it's done. It's in
the
expo.
Done. It's in the expo. It's done. It's up. I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
So it's this, but with chunks like Titanic. Yes.
So where your arrow is, zoom in on that a little bit.
Oh, you can kind of see it.
See the ice. Yeah, there's ice all over it, dude. The whole lake is ice. There's just small patches of open water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was absolutely hysterical. And I mean, we had a good time. My buddy Tom, he was the marketing guy there, and we had a really, really good time with that. And so after all that was over, I got him hooked up with Mark, and then Mark, myself, some other marketing people went down to Lake Norman and did a 3-day photo shoot and got him like, I don't know, 200 photographs, something crazy. But it was
this was not, you were not on the water for this deal.
Not even
in a studio, and then they took it, they added this. So that would explain why your form in here is so impeccable.
It's perfect, dude. It's because posture is everything.
That's unbelievable. That's a great. Do you remember when this came out? Like, do you remember?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you had won. Now you had some publicity and stuff, but do you remember opening Bassmaster magazine and being like, "Yeah, it's cool."
Oh yeah, heck yeah, dude. Because I just won. I won Buffalo, so that was a big thing. I won Buffalo in a TR20, and that's what I ran in those, 10 to 12 footers was a TR20. Triton was really good to me back then. I was Triton Yamaha. Clearly.
Yeah.
Legend came on after that. after Mercury got involved with Triton and Yamaha went away.
Here's the 2005. So this is the season that you qualified for. So you're not in this, but it's like the opening. This is pretty badass. I think we should have audio here. This is the opening to that 2005 season. Let me know if you can hear it.
Time for someone with superpowers to step it up. Will it be the Ninja, is Shama of the West, the Zen Master, the Oklahoma Kid, the Hack Attack, or the one they call Hardware?
Oh, yeah. Don't you come on. Please don't come on.
Get ready for the League of Extraordinary Anglers today on the Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail.
There you go.
I got goosebumps, man. I won't lie.
That
I got goosebumps. I can't lie.
Really?
Yeah,
This was we were going through the boat, so everyone knows you're a legend guy, but like you have the Triton on in that jersey.
Right.
So this was
Behold the future of bass boating. Triton by Earl Benz. Huge casting decks, twin rod lockers with ready rod organizer, cavernous dry storage boxes, proactive lure system, ergonomic console, fluid design for the next millennium, and Triton's Vortex hull for awesome performance. Triton boats. Your bass boat just became obsolete.
Isn't that great? So here, let me grab something really quick.
okay. Okay, have at it. Frank is off. It's kind of fun getting ready for this show because Frank all of a sudden was pulling out. We haven't even gotten to the lures for 22 minutes in.
What's that? Oh,
we haven't even gotten to the fishing lures or anything.
So this is what I did for Triton back then. This was in 2003. I made a coloring book for Triton to give away at the Classic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so in it, I did pictures that the kids could color. This is really cool. The bass going around the trolling motor.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got smallmouth eating a deep weir. So I did this whole coloring book, and then I had stuff for, learning for kids what blue herons are and shit like that.
It's a bad day to be a bluegill.
Yeah, it was a bad day to be a bluegill. I even have like steelhead in there and stripers.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, so and then for Crappie Talk Live, I got this, man.
Oh no. Oh, there we go. We're back. Oh yeah, eating some fathead shiners there.
Yeah,
Or some minnows.
And then I did some wildlife around the lake, which you'd find around the lake.
Frank, we need to chat after this. We have a lot of viewers and listeners who have children and grandchildren. Just saying.
But yeah. So that was in 2003. Okay. And so, cause Triton sponsored me in the Opens too. And, that was in 2003, and Neil and I became, pretty decent friends. And, he was a good dude, man. He worked with me all the time. He was a good guy. And, to be honest with you, that Triton TR20 back then, that 2003 to 2005 model, was banging, dude. It was a fast freaking boat. It handled water great. It was a lot of fun to drive. But yeah, it was cool. Those times I was the spokesperson for Silver Thread Line, which we know now is not available anymore. And loved Silver Thread so much. I had so much faith in that line. Listen to this. I'm on Okeechobee fishing an elite event. And fishing an elite event, and Pradco comes up and says, "Hey, we got this new fluorocarbon. Would you try it out?" So I go, "Sure." And I was sitting in the boat respooling, for the last day of practice, and I'm pulling on the line. It has very low stretch, seems really good. Line diameter's really good on it. So I'm like, what the hell? I sit there and spool up all my rods with this stuff. Never thrown it before in my life.
Is it the AN40 or just the straight silver thread?
Silver thread fluorocarbon. And so, yeah, so I'm sitting on Okeechobee spooling up with the silver thread fluorocarbon. I fished the tournament with the stuff. Never threw it a day in my life until then. And it was
some fish.
No.
No.
That's no. That stuff was money. That was like money.
That
yes, that was absolutely money.
You didn't have a learning curve when you went to fluorocarbon? I had a mass. I mean, I was younger than you and not as experienced, but I remember I had all the guys in the Assumption Bass Club that I was with, like, I mean, everybody went to it and then quickly went away from it because we understand memory and knot strength and like how how to manage it, what to do with it, how it reacted different. I mean, everyone was used to 20-pound big game.
Well, yeah, and 1.5 foot of stretch per every 6 feet. There's almost no stretch in this. So anyway, I didn't have a big learning curve. The craziest thing was I was on a really unique pattern. The fish were starting to spawn on the mother-in-law tongues, the arrowroot or arrow leaf plants. And hold on a second. I'm back. They were.
Dude, I'm writing down some ideas. We're about to do some cool stuff after the show. You got 10 minutes after the show for a meeting?
Of course I do.
Okay. I've made a note of it.
So the fish
getting what these people are putting down in the comments.
So the fish were spawning on the mother-in-law tongues. I had figured that out in practice, but the only way I could get these females to bite was here because we're going to talk about lures, and this is right in that time frame. I was throwing a Zoom Super Fluke on a 16th ounce and an 1/8 ounce weight, and that fluorocarbon was paramount because fluoro sank. Plus, there's less stretch. You have way more sensitivity with it. And it was a combination that was it worked out perfectly for it. It worked out absolutely perfectly for it. So that was my introduction to fluorocarbon. And then I quickly realized that you can't use it on top waters like pop-Rs and stuff because it sinks them. So, then I started figuring out the fluorocarbon game. But yeah, that silver thread fluorocarbon, when they did away with it, it was a very sad day in my life. Very sad day.
All right. You want to get into some good stuff here?
Yeah, let's
Not
do
that
it.
This hasn't been amazing. I kind of teased the show. I said Y2K baits. So I went 5 years before, 5 years after, 90 to 95. That's why I've got, like I said, I got the old Cotton Cordell foam hat. I got the blue starter jacket. I'm getting a little toasty. I'm gonna see if I can take this off.
Yeah,
and
I would like to do the same.
Would you like to go Steve Jobs? Feel free to. But this is the old Assumption Bass Club. It's like the blue jean material embroidered Illinois Bass Federation, but with the periods in between back when it was the Federation. Assumption Bass Club, jumping bass, eat the dragonfly on it.
You said something very important, Matt.
What's that?
Embroidered.
Yes, this
entire shirt. Yeah, this entire shirt is embroidery. There's no sublimation on it. This is all embroidered lettering. All the logos except for Sitco. And
those are legit patches.
Yeah, those are legit patches because we had to wear them in the elites.
Yeah. So, I went back and I pulled some of my photos from roughly around the same time that you were doing $500,000 photo shoots with full page spreads in Bassmaster. I mean, not to brag, but we'll just show this. That was my first year fishing the club there. And if you notice, even then I still had a spinning rod appears as though I had a very yellow spinner bait on in that.
Yeah,
But I would like to draw everyone's attention to the Ranger Boats jacket with the sweatshirt hood. Also embroidered with the Ranger Boats on one side. I think the other side had that I was a casting kids champion and that I was the top 8 the first year in the club. So
that's perfect, dude.
That's with John Ader. John Ader was like a stick in Illinois. I always liked that. He got a new Ranger. Shockingly let me around it at times. And then this is the next one, Save Time. So that is the fishing hat from Walmart, the Team Daiwa hat. And I was so excited in this. You can see another embroidered shirt that I quote, put my jersey on for the picture. And if you look at the bottom of that shirt, you'll notice
crooked.
I was so excited that I buttoned it up crooked. Put that sucker on just for the grip and grin.
Look at the collar.
So while you're looking dapper in the OSI, I'm over here putting on an embroidered blue jean shirt on the banks of Lake Shelby.
That is so funny, dude. That is so good. That's so good, man. So right around the same time, maybe a year or two later, this is this is Frankie. I taught Frankie how to fish. He's 2.5 years old here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Frankie with the spinning rod and he's gripping and grinning with the bluegill.
Yeah, look at the spinning reel.
Yeah, that's fantastic. He's down pre-practicing for the Open on Rayburn right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. They had crap weather yesterday, dude.
Yeah, when I went down in pre-practice, I had like 70 to 75 degree weather, and it was nice. And it goes off limits here for the 30-day, but like I was looking at Jasper, Texas's weather.
Yeah,
dude.
They got trash.
Very cold. He'll get a high of 55 today. That'll be nice though. So
yeah, but the wind's gonna lay down today.
Yeah. 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was
so
like
he's
25.
He's got a good day the next couple days. I don't know how long he's down there, but
not much longer.
All right. Bait wise.
Okay, so
you said you found a treasure trove for this show.
It's not a treasure trove because unlike you, I didn't give myself year before, year after, 5 years up, 5 years back. I kind of went for the same, but this is funny because this is really true. So the techniques back then that were like the techniques to be fishing back then were flipping was number one. If you weren't flipping, you weren't fishing. Offshore crankbaits, big crankbaits, DD22s, fat-free 7s, that kind of stuff. That was really big. Carolina rigs were really big. Football jigs were really big. And, of course, square bills, but not just any square bill, balsa square bills. Like if you weren't throwing a balsa bait, you weren't fishing. Those were huge techniques. Right at that time, suspending jerkbaits just started to become a player. They were just coming in to their own. People were starting to understand them, starting to understand the suspending bass. And I'm not mistaken, it was aside from the Rogue, because the suspending Rattling Rogue and the Pro Rogue were around. But companies like Jackal came out with the Squad Minnow, and believe it or not, oh gosh, this is gonna make me crazy. Megabass Vision 110 came out like in 2000 or 2001 was the first time that they introduced their Vision
2000,
110.
fall of 2000.
Yeah, so it was just that guys were just starting to figure out you don't have to be on the bank to catch them all the time. You know what I mean? Because spinner baits were huge. You never didn't have a spinner bait on your boat back then. You just never did. Most of the guys never fished 2 casts away from shore.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was always offshore back then. that's part of the reason I had success, was because I wasn't fishing for a lot of pressured bass at that point in time, because there wasn't a lot of guys doing it. Now there was a few, believe me, there was a few, but we were, for the most part, it was not the norm.
Mm-hmm. The Cinco was released in 1996. I started fishing with the club in 98. So we're talking, it had been out for 5 or 6 years, but that around that time, that 2002, 3, 4, isn't that when guys really started wacky rigging the Cinco on a spinning rod and kind of figuring out that you can flip it on a heavy weight in Florida, and how versatile the Cinco was instead of just the weightless shimmy on it? Texas rig?
Right. So what happened was, that's when the wacky rig became really big, and the Zoom Super Fluke took a hold.
Okay.
I remember fishing down south. My buddy Troy said, "Hey, you got to check these out." And they were Zoom Super Flukes.
That was 2000, the fall of 2000. So wait, the fall of 2000, Y2K, Vision 110 and Fluke came out?
Yes. Listen to this. So my buddy tells me, he goes, so I'm on Norman with him. We're fishing, and he shows me this thing, and I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And we're plastering them. So I had never heard of them before. B, you couldn't get them where I lived yet. So I got a ton when I was down there and brought them home. And then I fished a bunch of local derbies, and I just absolutely sandblasted them on it, and won all these tournaments and stuff off of that thing, because nobody had it up here. You know what I mean? Nobody had it here. And the bass hadn't seen that before. And I learned how to fish it on Lake Norman. So I had tons of confidence fishing it just below my sight range, or keeping it near the surface and fishing it visibly. So yeah, it was crazy, which is why I was flipping it in Florida on the mother-in-law tongues. So yeah, so you see how like our techniques and stuff, they change as the tournament game changes. Like here, for example, the speed craw and the brush hog came out right around then. The speed craw didn't really take hold until a couple years later, but the brush hog was a thing. You know what I mean? It was a thing. That's what everybody flipped. That's when the lizard starting dying back.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. So when I got into it, so I'm thinking early 2000s, right around that, the brush hog was not, I wouldn't say it was a novelty, but in Central Illinois, the bacon rind, basil bacon, the gambler bacon rind was the first. I remember all the guys that flipped the LaRue salt craw were now switching to the bacon rind, and then that seemed to transition into the brush hog. And I could be wrong on that. That's just how my mind works on it.
No, you're not wrong. So guess what else came out at that time? Lunker lure rattleback jig.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes. That was it. I have it down here. Yes. And the old school guys still used the pork chunk a little bit, but most of the old school guys around 2000 started transitioning to the Zoom big salty chunk.
Yes.
And then they started putting the LaRue black blue tip salt craw on that jig.
Bingo. That's 100% correct. So that's how this stuff evolved. Okay. And then because in the old days, I'm taking this off. I'm too hot.
Yeah, you can take off whatever you want. If you need to do a wardrobe change, we're good. If you're fine with the jersey, though, I think it kind of adds to the ambiance.
So you could see how things develop, because here in the old days, some of the old timers shied away from the soft plastic because the myth was it didn't stay flexible in cold water. Okay, which was obviously completely not true, but that was the myth behind it. That's when Uncle Josh's pork was big, and then there was another one. It was called Super Pork or something like that, which was a different design pork chunk that was more streamlined, fat on the head. It didn't have them thin little legs to it. It had fatter legs to it. So I went to the Super Pork after that because I found that it was bulkier, slowed the fall of the jig down more, and I can get more bites on the fall. So this is crazy because there's so many things. The Yum Dinger came out right around the end of that period, and man.
Okay, so the thing about the early 2000s for the Yum Dinger. So the thing about the triple rattleback jig, and I think Biffle had a lot. Biffle was a big triple rattleback jig guy.
Big proponent.
There's two things. The band was stretched when it went around that rattle on the back. So you had to try to make sure when you got that package that you didn't have a compromised band, because sometimes you would open it, make a couple flips, and the whole skirt would be gone.
Right.
The other thing that the trick was, the guys who started biting off the salt craw and threading it on the paint of the triple rattleback when they dipped it, if you had the black and blue, would stick the rattle to the shank of the hook, and you wouldn't be able to thread your salt craw on without the back of it splitting. So you had to lightly wiggle that rattle on the back to break that paint off, and then you could take a razor, get it, and then slightly bend the hook away from it so you could thread that salt craw up behind it without it splitting, so you could get a nice compact package.
That is correct. Here, hold on. I think my buddy's contacting me. I think he's going to plow my driveway.
A free driveway plowing?
Yeah, which would be so good because I don't want to shovel over a foot of snow.
Yeah.
Because my driveway is like 35 yards long.
Yep. It was that jig, and then the 5/8 ounce Picasso rattling jig, which was also big in Central Illinois. But when you talk about that, when you talk about those creature baits that came out, the biggest popular thing in that 2000 to 2004, there was a lot of advances in sound and rattling and noises, in my opinion.
Yes.
Gambler made the
scent too. Scent.
Yep. The bang. But Gambler also made those screw in Florida weights that rattled in the head.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do. And you know what? I didn't use them because I didn't like the size of the head. I thought it was too big.
It was very big to allow the BBs.
Yeah, so it made me very apprehensive because it was just this big giant in front of the lure. So I didn't really groove on that. But I used to take thin glass rattles and shove them inside the plastic, but not at the end. I'd put the plastic on the jig hook and then shove the rattle in the side of the plastic so it was parallel to the hook shank and not on the tentacles behind the hook. So the tentacles still moved. I didn't have a 5/8 of an inch rattle sitting in there.
So were guys waking the long A before the 2000s, or was the long A and that whole kind of top water subsurface wake bait -1 stuff, was that around that kind of time frame too, Frank?
Yeah, it was, because I remember I was on Santee Cooper and I was waking a baby -1 in the grass when Santee had piles of grass back then. The waking of the bomber, I think went back farther back than that. The red fin became the bait to wake after that, was the Cordell red fin. Guys like the solid bodied one. I like the jointed one better because I could get the jointed one. I can get it to fall over on the joint and it would make a different sound on it when it would wake. But yeah, it was crazy. Things were being invented, things were being experimented with, a lot of tweaking going on with all kinds of lures, not just the main lures, but all kinds of different lures. It was a really good growth period in the lure industry after that period.
Yeah. Do you remember in 2004, like I saw a picture of that spinning reel and stuff that you showed Frankie, but technology wise, Great Lakes, you went on smallmouth, a mixture of that and stuff, but smallmouth wise, what were the predominant baits? Because I feel like
Okay.
the smallmouth has completely flipped on its head from what it was back in
Yes.
2000.
So basically what in 2000, basically when I hit Lake Erie, my smallmouth arsenal was really easy. Tubes, tube jig heads, and vertical jigging spoons. And blade baits. That's pretty much was it for the smallmouth game until drop shotting became a thing. And then I remember that drop shotting wasn't legal in Michigan. And so one of my elite events, one of my first elite events on St. Clair, you couldn't use a drop shot
because of snagging.
Yes, because it was illegal in Michigan. So I employed the tube, a regular football jig, crankbaits, and topwaters.
What was the tube back then?
There was a whole bunch. There was the tube. The tube that started the game was the Bobby Garland Gets It.
Okay.
And the color was 200 green, is what it was called, which is watermelon. Okay. That's the one that started. It was a long, slender tube, probably 3.5 inches, real skinny tube. That started the whole thing. Then guys got in with, then other tube manufacturers started creating tubes, and they were experimenting with double dipping them, triple dipping them. And then they came up with these giant, fat, sausage-looking tubes. That was the tube and jig head game. I used to use flipping tubes, like 4.5-inch flipping tubes, because in the same time period, flipping a tube became huge, and so guys were flipping tubes. So they created tubes for largemouth fishing that were, long, thin, for largemouth to be rigged weedless and flipped. I took those and put jig heads in them and used them for smallmouth on Lake Erie. So yeah, so it was crazy. But once drop shotting came out, the tube went away. And here's something really interesting. The tube's making a huge comeback in the smallmouth game, because guys are finding that you can't always catch them on drop shots. And so the tube is making a huge comeback.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rod and reel wise, do you remember what like your go-to drop shot rod and reel was back in the early 2000s? A tube rod and a reel? Like what was your line set up?
Okay, so I had rods made with a tapered Tennessee handle from, I believe Quoro made them.
Okay.
Which they're not in business anymore. Tapered
6'6"?
Tennessee. 6.5 and 7 foot.
That was a long rod back then. A 7-footer was a flipping stick.
Yeah, but see, I love throwing 7.5 foot spinning rods. Like I love them. I throw my tubes on them, my drop shots on them, micro football jigs on them. I throw everything on them. I very rarely go below 7 foot ever anymore. Now I used to, because that's all that was available.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a time I had loose rods for a while. They were really good rods. And then of course I got into Powell, and that was the end of it. But that was later on.
Now, I'm just relating it to me, but topwater wise, specifically buzzbait wise, there was one buzzbait in the game back then, there were two. So Strike King had like a tri-metal buzzbait that some of the guys threw, but it was 99% flat rubber lunker lure, 1/2 ounce.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you the lunker lure for sure.
Okay.
100% for sure, the lunker lure.
Mm-hmm.
There was another by a company that no longer exists that made a huge play for the guys that were in the know, and that was Rippler buzzbaits. Rippler buzzbaits was a 3-bladed buzzbait with holes in the blades. And you could fish them on the surface like a buzzbait, or you could fish them under the surface like a spinnerbait. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. Look it up, Rippler lures.
There's nothing on it.
All right, man. Yes.
Rippler lures buzzbait.
Yeah. It's an oldie, and they don't make them anymore. They're not, clearly it's been long.
But that was one of those on tour where it was like guys through.
Yeah, it was a hush hush thing. One of the hush hush things.
Yeah, if anybody has one of those, there's fine about it.
But yeah, so that was cool. But the lunker lure was the buzzbait. Like, it was the buzzbait to throw.
Crankbait wise, so I know.
Oh, dude, this is perfect.
What?
Going into crankbaits.
Yeah, so I'll give you my top 2 crankbaits of the early 2000s, and then the floor is yours, because this is literally like me telling Michael Jordan how to shoot a 3-pointer or a fadeaway.
No, it's not.
These are the 2 that stick out to me. The first one is I want to call it a re-release of the Bandit 1 and 200s in the new colors with the pair EWG mustads. Now, I know that Pradco's owned Bandit since the 80s, from what I know, but there was a re-release in that late 90s, early 2000s where they kind of redid everything, refreshed it, came back out with them. The Bandit 200, then, I mean, literally, like, that was the crankbait. And then also the 2 Lucky Crafts, which we talked about there, the RC 1.5 in the blackback with the muted chartreuse and the little dots down the side, and the splatterback shad in the 1.5. Those were,
dude, I can't believe you forgot this color.
Those were, well, I'm just talking about for me.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Those were the 2 crankbaits. Now, you also have to remember where I was fishing was Central Illinois. So Shelbyville was the only time that we did it once a year where you could throw deep stuff, and I would just throw the Bandit 200 then, and the Excalibur fat-free shad.
100%. So here, 100%. So we'll start out with the Bandit 200, because back then, if you didn't have a Bandit 200, you weren't catching fish.
A box. I had a box of Bandit 200s.
100%.
Like, that was it. It was a box of 100s and a box of 200s, and I was a co-angler.
1000% true. So listen to this. The color that exploded that bait was root beer, and root beer chartreuse was the color that you had to have. Those 2 colors you had to absolutely have.
What do you think I caught that on?
Bandit 200 or a 100?
Bandit 200 root beer chartreuse.
Yeah, dude, those were the colors
in 2002.
Godly, man. So that was the shallow bait. Okay. Now it was the suspending fat-free shad and the Norman DD22. Those were my go-to offshore crankbaits, 1,000,000%. Between those 2 baits, I didn't need another crankbait fishing offshore. The reason being is this: the suspending fat-free shads got down deeper than the package said because they suspended. When it deflected off of something and you paused it, it just sat there. All right. The DD22, because it was a gel coat coated bait, were so heavy that their rise was super slow. And that was the key to the baits. Later, they came out with the DD22 heavyweight, which was a full 1 ounce crankbait. But I think that was later than that time period. If I'm not mistaken, it came out after that.
You go to Kentucky Lake in 2000 to 2005, that 2003, 2004. It's a crankbait bite. What % of the field has those 2 crankbaits tied on? The Excalibur and the DD.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was Edwin.
No, I just have the field. If there were 150 guys in the field, how many of the 150 who were deep cranking were using those two primarily?
I would say probably 70% of them. Everybody knew that I had them and that I was addicted to them. Edwin ran out in the tournament on Kentucky Lake, and I was plastering them on a DD22 and a suspending fat free. And so he came to me and he said, "Man, dude, I know you got them. Can you peel off a few for me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I gave him some fat frees in citrus, suspending fat frees in citrus, and a couple DDs because he wasn't fishing my ledge, so I didn't care. You know
what was your setup? We talked about your setup for the smallmouth stuff. What was your deep crank setup back then?
So I wanted long rods for cranking, and they really didn't have too many extra long cranking sticks back then. So you were mostly in the 6.5 to 7 foot range, which is problematic on making a long cast because you lose a lot of yardage in your cast with a shorter cranking rod. The other problem was leverage. You lost leverage when you get one on the farthest part of the cast. You don't have the leverage on a shorter rod. The other problem was a lot of guys were making them out of fiberglass and not graphite back then. And so now you had a double problem. You had too soft of a rod. You couldn't keep the fish buttoned up. So what I did back then, I had St. Croix cranking sticks. I cut all the guides off and tied my own guides on them and added extra guides to them to stiffen them up a little bit. That tournament on Kentucky Lake, I lost probably 25-pound limit in the first 7 minutes because I had a cracked guide and didn't realize it and kept breaking fish off. And so that was really problematic for me because I couldn't make that up. You know what I mean? I had lost those fish. I could not make it up. I caught them good the whole tournament, but the initial size came the first day I was on it, and I didn't capitalize on it.
This, when it comes to the crankbait rod, the Bass Pro Shops Power Hump. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
The Power Hump crankbait rod was a big deal to have your own rod to crank with, and that Power Hump allowed you to get that crankbait down there and took some strain off of your arm.
Yeah, so that was about the time I think Fritz came out with the loose cranking rod, and then
the speed spool I think has been out for a long time.
Elias came out with the Neil and Reel rod.
What were you cranking with? Were you cranking with the silver thread?
Yeah. I was cranking with regular silver thread until the silver thread fluoro came out, and then I went to the fluoro. But for a lot of my fishing, it was just regular silver thread.
You mentioned the balsa. Let's do that mid kind of shallow crankbait range. What was in your box in the early 2000s?
Early 2000 was a Bandit 200.
Yep.
6A bomber.
Yep.
7A bomber. And
those are still in your box. All three of those.
Yeah. And a fat free 4 and a fat free 5.
Okay. And then were there any good plastic square bills outside of the Lucky Craft 1.5 and the there
was two. That one specifically never got the recognition it deserved, and that was the Bomber Square A. I caught so many fish on the Bomber Square A when guys were square billing all the balsa baits that I would never stop throwing it. It was my go-to. And the color that I loved the best in it was Tennessee shad with the original plastic as the sides. It wasn't a painted sided, wasn't painted. The whole bait wasn't painted. Only the back was. The rest of the bait was this pearly plastic material that they used. That was the money bait. I can't tell you the amount of fish I caught on it.
Does it still look like that? Is that what it looked like?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the bait. They had 3 sizes back then. I think it was
They have an 1 5/8 and a 2 1/4 now.
yeah, it's like an 04, 05, and then an 06. And now they took the biggest one out, and now they only have the middle size and the smallest size. And it was the middle size one that was the deal. That was just, it was it was the craziest thing, dude. It's the dumbest looking bait. Looked cheap, but man, did it catch them.
What color did you say?
Tennessee shad. It was the plastic color with the olive green back.
Oh, yeah, they don't have that shad.
No, I discontinued that a decade ago.
That'd be a good comeback.
I actually have them to this day and still fish them.
Mm-hmm.
And it still catches them.
There's a bunch of baits, 70s, 80s, 90s, and things like that. You could talk about the Big O. You can talk about all that stuff. We're talking about that specific time period. To me, that was a very, we all realized that the world wasn't going to end because the computers didn't crash at Y2K.
Right, yeah, right. Exactly.
I look at it more nostalgically because for you, it's a time period of your life and career. For me, it's like me getting into it. So everything was new. Everything is kind of seared into my brain. So it's not a very fair comparison about it, but it seems like there were big technological advances then that you had not seen in the 5 or 10 years prior to that, where once 2000 hit and you're in the new century, all the companies really pushed to try to be really cutting edge going into the new century and get ahead of, the Triton boats, like that ad is, we're in a new generation of these baits and all that stuff.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's just in my head. Is that a fair assessment of kind of how that 2-3 time year period around Y2K was?
Oh yeah, it was incredible. It was exciting. To be honest with you, as an upcoming angler, it was super exciting. Because everything seemed to be happening. You know what I mean? It was like, oh gosh, it's all happening. And then of course side imaging came out. Well, we went from paper graphs to digital to side imaging, and everything was
somewhere around there.
Everything was just going and going and going. And we used to make fun all the time, say the only thing in fishing that's never changed was the electric trolling motor. That's what we used to say back then. It's the most, think about it. Just think about it.
It's still very similar to what it was. It's just a lot fancier.
Well, but now the technology is with it. Like, spot lock and, what do they call it? Digital, where it doesn't throw you out of the boat when you step on it.
Yeah, GPS stuff and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, so now it's making its advances. Now the trolling motor, I would say the trolling motor in the last 7 years has been aside from live scope, forward facing sonar, I would say the trolling motor has evolved the most in the last 7 years, maybe 8 years, other than forward facing sonar.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, let's talk a little bit about some metals, some blades, some spinner baits. I've seen the Terminator name thrown around here. That seemed to be a big late 90s, early 2000s spinner bait where you're not breaking the deal on it, but those 100%. Early 2000s.
Yeah, I was
big spinner bait era. Big spinner bait era.
I was sponsored by Terminator.
You really were. You were sponsored by the Terminator spinner bait.
Hey, that's how I met Alan. That's how I met Guck.
Yeah, he was big in the production of that. And then so someone else who was at the wedding, one of my good buddies, Chip Porcher. I don't know if you met him or not. He went, his wife Kayla weren't able to make it. So Chip's dad, who passed away, Paul, phenomenal guy. Like literally one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Huge supporter of it. We fished in college. He ran a jeweler. He was a jeweler, really respected jeweler in the Tulsa area. And when Terminator came out with their titanium baits, Guck ran it was kind of in charge in that whole area where he was working. Alan McGuckin, who we've had on the show before, talked about it, did a promotion where they put real diamonds inserted into the eye of the spinner baits, of like 5 of them. in the
Holy
package.
smoke.
So on the shelf, it was kind of like a pack of trading cards. You didn't know what you were going to get, but you could get a diamond eye, a like a 2-carat diamond eye Terminator spinnerbait, and that was their promotional. So Alan McGuckin went to Porsche Jewelers, and it was Chip who's there, who I fished with in college, who the whole reason I'm in this is because he sent me the message that said, hey, it looks like you're into fishing. I'm starting a club at Oklahoma. Would you like to get into it? And then I joined the club, and then Jeffrey sent a message to the club that said, I'm looking for an intern. And then I took that as the intern, and then that led to the next 20 years. It was his dad who inserted those diamonds into the eye of the Terminator spinnerbaits that Alan McGuckin was promoting.
Man alive, what a great marketing ploy.
Yeah,
that was fabulous. But yeah, so I used to get my Terminators, and then found out that you could heat the wire up, and you could change the blade combinations on them and everything else. And so that's what I did, man. I tinkered with baits my entire life because I wanted stuff nobody was using, or I found something missing, and I wanted to fill that void. So that's what I did. But yeah, it was crazy, man. It was absolutely crazy time back then.
Yeah, so that was late 90s, actually. I found it. In 1997, Dr. Ben Johnson, a world-renowned root canal specialist and lifelong outdoorsman, revolutionized spinnerbait design when he created the first ever nickel titanium spinnerbait. He called it a Terminator. This was from 2006. So in the 10 years since, Terminator has sold more than 10 million titanium spinnerbaits to help celebrate its upcoming anniversary. So this would have been 2005, 2006 that they did this. So we're still around that time frame.
Right. So
to help celebrate the 10th anniversary, Terminator will place a near flawless diamond in the eye of 10 Diamond Anniversary Series spinnerbaits. The brand new Diamond Anniversary Series consists of 10 custom designed spinnerbaits with the blades, curts. Particular note, if you're one of the lucky 10 to find a diamond in the eye of your new spinnerbait, you could, of course, keep it, or you could trade it in at your local jeweler for more than $1,000 cash.
Isn't that crazy? That is such a great promotional idea. Except today, I think people would be ripping them off the shelves and tearing into them, and I think you'd have a lot of problems today. But what a great promotion. What a great promotion.
Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of take it over there, but that brought back some. So that's Chip's dad who set that in there. He set them all in there in Tulsa. That's Paul Porsche who put those diamonds in the eyes of those spinnerbaits.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. How cool would it be though to get a spinnerbait, you're chucking it, and you're like, why are the eyes different?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, if you didn't know.
You're throwing it, trying to win a club tournament for $87, and you're throwing $2,000 spinnerbait out there.
Ramming it off of both sides of boat docks.
Take your wife fishing. Babe, can I throw that thing that flashes and spins around? Yeah, just tie one on in there.
Yeah, just throw
pretty
it.
eyes. Yeah, no, they're really is this a diamond?
Yeah, exactly. As she launches it in the tallest tree.
Oh God, there had to be, out of those 10, some guy had to take his longtime girlfriend who'd just been hounding him for a wedding proposal fishing, and he opens it. She's like, "Oh my God,
we got the ring, baby."
No. Yeah. She's like, "Oh my God, baby, that's so creative." He's up there going, "The hell are you talking about?"
Yeah. You're gonna feel so special.
Oh man, Drunkwood said he's returned a few diamonds. You don't get as much as you think.
Here we go. Yes,
but think about the emotional healing that returning those diamonds does for you, Drunkwood. That is actually priceless.
Yes, that is funny.
But anyway, we got off the track. So there was that. So talk about the other spinnerbaits. I feel like that was when big spinnerbaits took off.
Yeah, they did. Hildebrand came out with some. I think the Ledge Buster. Was the Ledge Buster then, or was it a little later?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. They went to the ounce ounce and a quarter, ounce and a half, ledge buster spinner baits, slow rolling them on deep ledges. The brush hog spinner bait was way before that period because I was still fishing the Ohio River and stuff when brush hog was big.
Was this Zura Spook and all that stuff that'd been out long time? Like were there any new like walking topwaters outside of like the Sammy?
They might have done the Super Spook with the recessed eyes and the rattles in it. But I don't know I don't know the exact time frame on that. But I know first it was the original Zara Spook, and then it was the Zara Super Spook, which was the same exact size, only it had recessed eyes. The Super Spook Junior, and then that giant Super Spook, the big one. Yeah. And then you know what bait didn't get a lot of recognition that I think was right in that 0405 time frame was Cordell's pencil popper. Because I remember going to Murray, and if you didn't have a pencil popper on, you weren't catching nothing.
Yeah, that was right during that time. That was when that was when Patrick Sabile still owned Sabile before he sold to Pure Fishing, and that was
and he made that
Hill won in 06 on the Sabile Magic Swimmer.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those still,
and that came out a couple years before that. And you are absolutely right. The blue, that light blue back, chrome bellied cotton Cordell striper pencil popper.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I still have them in my topwater box to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I scraped a few of the chrome ones down to bone, but yeah.
Drunkwood's right too. The spitting image and the popping image.
Yeah.
The Excalibur stuff. I remember I got a couple of those back in the day. That would have had to have been like right around 2000, late 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And those were like, had Bill Dance on the packaging, the black packaging, the premium Excalibur hooks, the kind of 3D glow finish on them.
Yeah, it was cool. Then right a little bit after that, they came out with their jerkbait series, their XT3, XT4.
And you still throw those every day.
I do.
All right, what do you have to show? I know you said you grabbed a couple boxes.
Oh my gosh. So because we were talking about lures, I had gone downstairs and I have some of my grandfather's really old wooden tackle boxes, but I had taken those boxes and I had taken everything out of them and cleaned them up and put it all away so they wouldn't get damaged. But I found an old tackle box from my wife's grandfather, and I have it here, and it is heavy. It's giant. It's metal. It's giant, and clearly it was special because he got a grocery label that said special on it and put fish gear on it.
That's not making it to the yard sale.
No, I'm just telling you the truth. I'm going to open this and we're going to see a lot of this for the first time. But some of the baits that I got out of my grandfather's were this thing, which I have no earthly idea what it is.
Where's Bernie Schultz when you need him?
Yeah, I don't know who made that or what that is. And then, of course, there's this thing that I'm not sure.
You're going to hold up a bait that one person is going to go, oh my God, the angling community, the collectors have been looking for this for 30 years and have never found one. And you're going to be like, I don't know what the hell this is.
Yeah, well, that's about what we're about to go through right now. So anyhow, here we go, guys.
Hold on, you're back. You're kind of freezing. I don't know if that's just me or you, but okay, you're back.
It could be me because we have the storm going on.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, so here we go. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
This is a large black metal tackle box. It appears to be about 3 feet in length. It looks like it's made out of stainless steel. It's much larger. It's not like the trifold. It's has independent shelves in it.
they
It looks
come
like there
out.
might be 8 or
There's-
9 that come out.
Yeah.
Just try to visualize it for our MP3 listeners.
So here.
Oh, there's
here-
nothing before 1960 in there, Frank.
Oh no.
Or nothing after 1960.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
There's a crazy crawler, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So here, so what? So here I have. This is shoot, I don't have my glasses. This is a head and bait, I believe. Yeah, it's the head and flap tail. It's got the little wire that you tie the line to in the front that sticks out, and it's got the metal blade on the back that flaps. The head and flap tail. That's an old.
The cheapest one I see on eBay is 75. Here's 134, 265, 147, 75, 99.
And then the Bassarino. Remember the Bassarino?
I've heard of that. I've never seen one. That's a Hedden as well, right?
I think it looks like similar design.
Yep. The vintage South Bend Bassarino.
Yeah. And then I don't know what the heck this is, a prop bait of some sort. It's all the paint's gone on it. But we've got we have something really wild here. A Pikerino. That's the Pikerino. And then I got some really cool.
Did I say it was South Bend?
Yeah.
Yep, here it is right here. Wow.
What?
It's an interesting bait.
Then here's that crazy crawler made out of wood. It's the original wooden head and crazy crawler.
Yeah.
So I'll go to another tray because now some of this we're seeing for the first time, folks. This is a scary tray, boys and girls.
I'm trying to go full screen. For some reason, Frank's not at full Wi-Fi power, so it's totally smooth when I have you at split screen. When I try to go bigger, it freezes. So we're just going to keep it right here, and it's crystal clear.
How am I not on Wi-Fi? Oh.
I don't know, but watch. You're not doing anything there, and if I go like this, you're gonna. I'll do it until you freeze again, but it'll take like 20 seconds. And then
okay, so this is the other tray that was underneath it, and there's a lot of garbage in this tray. But here's the funny thing. Okay, so we talked about. Check this old guy out.
What the heck? That's like a.
It's a monkey or a pike lure.
Okay.
And then we talked about. I have no idea what this is, but the skirt is so fragile. It's flat rubber skirt, super fragile.
Oh, it's a buzz. It's a
surface lure.
It's like a whopper plopper blade.
There's something on this. There's writing on this. Let's see what we got. It says on it, EOER or something like that.
Wait, say that again. I didn't get those letters.
It's either EGER. I wonder if you could see the little logo on there. EGER.
No. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Someone will know what it is. That'll be in the comments here shortly.
That's in there. And of course, whoa.
I don't know what your time is. Just keep going through it. People are loving this.
Okay, so
I mean, I did not have Frank Scalish wearing his 2004 tournament jersey going through his grandpa's tackle box on the day 4 bingo card.
And of course, no tackle box would be complete without the old wooden ruler.
Mm-hmm.
That opens up. There's more in here. I have some original Arborgas lures that have all the writing engraved on the inside of the cup with the patent numbers and everything on them.
Not a stitch of rust in that box, Frank.
No, just white powdery crap that I don't know what it is.
Lead. That's lead. I would wash your hands after that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Some crazy weighted spinner rig.
Whoa.
Right, and it's got the same. Oh man, what do we got on the blade here?
Whoa.
Patent pending. Al Foss.
Like A-L?
A-L Foss, F-O-S-S. May 14th. May 14th, 1/8.
Hold it up again.
April 30th.
That is an Al Foss Little Egypt fishing bait. What color's the eye? Dark blue?
The eye color could be dark blue or amber. It's kind of worn out.
And it says on here 1916 to 1929.
Outstanding.
I'm going to throw this up. I'm not kidding, Frank. Look, $200.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And then, so let's go to the bottom of this tray.
Dude, that reminds me of the Walker Special, I believe, which is the blade that the chatterbait was based off of.
Nice. Look at this little guy.
Hold that up a little. Oh, the stripper frog.
Bone chicka chicka. Ow, ow. It is a H-A-L-I-K, it looks like, a Halleck. Mouse minor or something like that. Anyway, so let's see what's underneath this, because I don't know what's underneath here. This is frightening.
Hold on. Yep, that is a vintage Halleck Frogler.
Yeah.
1940s.
All right. And then I have a Shannon Persuader. That was a pike lure with, does it have a hook in it? Yeah, the hook's still in there. It's not very good, but yeah. The Persuader. All right, let's see what's underneath this, because this
There's
is
nothing in the box, though, is there? You don't
Nothing.
have a box for that?
no. I don't, not to my knowledge, unless it's under here. The boxes are worth more than the lures at times, because I have a bunch of original boxes. Like here,
I
check
found
this.
a bunch of Shannon Persuaders. That must have been a popular Canadian bucktail.
Yeah, so check this out. Original Daredevil box. Right?
That's freaking cool.
It is very cool.
What
And
color's the Daredevil, or is there not one in there?
it's not in here. But I have the, oh my gosh, dude. I have the instructions in it. I don't want to open those.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
of-
don't open them.
But then I have a Miller Wobbler, which is another spoon box.
Wow, these are in like pristine shape, Frank.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is like, this is literally like.
Check this out. South Bend.
You said it was your grandpa's?
This was my wife's grandfather's.
Your wife's grandpa's. You know that like these
So-
exact boxes, like he couldn't wait to get to like wherever he hung out with his buddies. And you know,
Oh,
he'd be-
yeah.
just like we do.
Oh,
with
dude,
you.
the lure's in this one.
Oh, wow.
South Bend, Basserino.
I'll just nix this right here. I'm assuming 0% chance any of this will ever be for sale. This is Frank's personal box that he's going down with the ship with, correct, Frank?
Probably so. So you remember the other day when we were talking about going into vintage tackle boxes,
Yeah.
and no vintage tackle box is equipped without a fish scaler.
That has not scaled any fish.
It has not. Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
Just show us everything. I'll give you a damn.
What is this, man?
Please tell me those are maps.
Oh my gosh, dude. Plastic worms, black plastic worms. Lindy tails, super bass killer.
Like ripple tail, or just like the kind of teardrop shape on the tail, like the original old man's used to be.
It's like a little knife blade.
Yeah. What? Wait. Let me see. I'll just look them up. See what I can get info on it. Oh. Lindy. Super bass tail. There's nothing on it.
And then there's stuff in here. Life wouldn't be complete without another fish scaler.
Bad day to be a fish.
Yeah. And then, of course, the beautiful, wonderful metal stringer.
Even a worse day to be a fish. That's typically what you see before you see the scaler.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you know there's a problem. And then I got a reel. I don't even know what kind of, oh, it's just a
Little push button.
yeah, Daiwa thing. But I got some Fluger Supremes for sure. Look at how old these Lindy Snells are.
That's funny. You got like such a combination of bass stuff, but then like you can tell. You know where he was from, Frank?
Yeah,
obviously somewhere up north.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, that it's interesting. Like you get an old school guy's tackle box down here. Like it's that these things are not in it.
Dacron line.
Oh, that looks trustworthy.
Yeah, well, they had to clean them and unspool them, and they put them on these wooden rods, wooden dolls. So let's see now, because you know what's going to happen now. I'm never going to get all the shelves back in this thing. So there's more.
Have an early rooster tail, do you?
There's some more stuff down here. So this is Wisconsin walleye waters.
Okay. Is there something on the top? Some handwriting?
Yeah, it's his name, 1972.
Okay.
And then here's Nightcrawler Secrets by Bill Binkelman.
Can you open that?
Yeah.
Like without damaging it?
Yeah, it feels like it's pretty good shape.
Read us just a random sampling out of Nightcrawler Secrets, Frank.
All right, we're gonna.
That one's got me intrigued. That's what I started with. I was a Nightcrawler expert for the first 6 or 7 years.
All right. Never before have I asked you or anyone to keep an angling secret. I'm going to break this rule and ask you point blank not to pass on the information in this booklet. So he's writing the book and he's telling them not to pass this around.
Love it.
It's much too deadly. It took many years to accumulate, and it's worth too much just to give it out willy-nilly.
That's a great passage.
Oh, it's funny. It's very funny. But yeah, so that's in here. And then I got some Fluger Supreme reels, which I have a lot of those because my grandfather
That's a
fished
great
with
point. FVPS is saying, see, there are no info rules even back then.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, this is never going back in. I'll have to do it when we're off the air. But this is an old ball CL1. I don't know if this is a Fluger or not. This guy, it's got the old Dacron line on it still. And then this is definitely a Fluger Supreme. Oh no, this is a South Bend anti-backlash. No, that's going to have to go in my lure collection.
It's not backlashed.
No, it's not, but it's got some little funky wire thing here. Anyway, So yeah, there's some more little trinkety stuff in here. Oh my gosh, dude. One of those little weigher scales still in the original box. We're not going to open the box.
He planned on catching them.
Oh yeah, he was all about it.
The lures, the scale to weigh it, the stringer to keep it on.
Oh yeah, he had it going on. He had it going on, man. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. So like a lot of this I've just seen for the first time with you guys here. I'm gonna have to wash my hands. There's a lot of residue in the bottom of this thing. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like my grandfather's, I already tore into them and I got everything out and put away.
Mm-hmm.
This one I hadn't torn into yet. But it's got some good stuff. I really like the original packaging. To me, that's where it's at. Some of these old lures are great here, you know, that we showed you on the top shelf. This is never closing. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We covered a lot of generations of fishing today. He goes, how do we go from 2005 to back in the day? Dude,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
It's crazy. I'll just have to throw it here and deal with it when we're done with this. But yeah, isn't that cool? I mean, it's like a discovery every time you pull a shelf out. It's like a discovery. But it's pretty wild. Man alive, man.
Dude, that was a fun show.
That was cool. That was super cool.
You've got some really cool baits in there. I like it just as a I mean, that is like a time capsule.
Oh, 100%.
I would love to have like a time capsule from like 2000.
It's built strong enough. It's built strong enough to last. I promise you. The thing weighs 50 pounds.
Oh, yeah. You can use it as a self-defense.
Yeah, without a doubt. Or an anchor. In case of dire emergency. Tie rope, chuck out a boat.
Oh, God. All right. You got anything else, Frank?
No,
I got to get out. I'm shocked that this shirt still fits me. And there we've gotten multiple compliments. Hey, the shirts still fit. 20 years later.
I can't even believe it. Like
you actually look good in that shirt.
Get the hell out of here.
No, like, I mean, you look like you're ready to go take someone's money.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then my wife should be wearing it.
This is officially the last day for Frank will never be seen again.
I'll never be seen again.
The flagpole outside the American flag will be replaced with the orange and black OSI Pro Series with just some light blood stains on it. Someone will claim they've seen her raising the jersey at 2 a.m. the night you disappeared. Does she listen? Court doesn't listen to the shows. You know, last Thursday I went off on Court doesn't listen. I spent the first 45 minutes in the storm cellar. Guess what show she decided to listen to?
That one.
And then she's like, hey, because she was flying. She's like, interesting morning. I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that's what I heard. And I said, you listened to the show, didn't you? And she goes, yes. You better hope Rachel isn't listening to the show.
It's fine. After 30 some years of marriage, it's fine. Trust me. There's nothing to hide behind.
Oh my God.
Clear blue line.
I'm going to save you here. Oops, nope, that's the wrong thing. They put the sounds thing. I'm going to save you. The exit music. All right, this has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. Same time, same place. Next Thursday, we'll talk to everyone then. See ya. Good luck, Frank.